guys, how are you all doing? Welcome to Graphy, and today we have with us five-time world champion Viswanathan Anand, and we have a simul today, and it's against four people today: Sridhar, Ritvik, Aryan, and Tarun. So hi guys, hi sir, how are you?
Fine. How are you? How's everyone? How are you all doing? Uh, yeah, I'm doing well. Having a few quiet days at home. So
Yes sir, we can start the simul anytime you like.
okay.
So guys, sir has already begun the simul. I'm just setting up the OBS. Just give me a second. Okay, so Sir is playing against Ritik in this. Okay, everything is alright, right? Can you hear me? Can someone tell me that I'm audible in the chat, in the live chat? Is everything alright? Okay, so against Teransh, Sir has chosen d4, knight c6, d5. Knight c6 is not a very popular move, but okay, it's played. d5, knight e5, e4, d6, b4. Okay, so the knight is already trapped here. Nice trap by Sir here. Knight is trapped. I think knight c6, knight a5 was not the best move, but okay. Let's go to Sridhar's game. Again, Sridhar sir has opted for some sort of London system. Okay, this is what was played. And in this, sir has played e4, c5. So we have the Sicilian against Basilic. I think Basilic is Tarun. I think so. Ritik has played. Okay. So far we are in the just opening phase. Guys, this is basically a simul for the clan. So in Graphy, if you attend the lectures, if you subscribe for the course, then you can get a chance to play against Sir in a simul. And right now there is a 15% discount for the next 3 days. So do join, and basically the concept is like you will submit few of your games and Sir himself will analyze those games and then tell you how you went wrong in the game or what are the areas you can improve in. So that's the whole concept. Okay, thank you Vaishvi, thank you. My voice is low. Okay, I can increase it. I think I should be audible now. Okay, let's see what's happening in this game. So far I think Basilisk is playing well. Sir has a very good center here in this position, but it's just the opening phase, so too soon to tell what's going to happen. Okay, again Sridhar has played a very solid setup, like they are just in the opening phase again, but Sir's pieces are already pointed towards Black's king, and there he goes with h4. So he's going to attack now, most probably on the king side. Let's go to this game. And guys, this is a simul, so Anand sir is playing all white. So he's facing white in all the games. Voice is still low. Okay, 1 second, I'll fix it. Okay, now it should be fine. I think now it should be fine. Okay, let's go to Sridhar's game, because see, as you can see, there is attack on h7. Suddenly even g4 can be a move. G4 can be a move because he cannot take here, because if he does, then h7 is hanging suddenly. So there's an interesting idea here. So Sridhar will have to play something to prevent g4. Okay, Tarun is thinking here. Okay, what happened here? ed5. So d5 was pushed. He captured. Knight e5, d6. d6 basically cuts off the support of the queen, and now rook e1 can be a threat. Also, this king will have a hard time castling because the knight is not developed. Queen b6, knight c3, just developing. And again, rook e1 is a threat here. Knight into f3, queen into f3, knight f6, rook e1 check, king f8. Yeah, so basically this e-file will be very dangerous for black now, because suddenly queen e2 and queen e7 ideas are possible. Let's go to Ritik's game. Okay, so here this is Sir is trying to advance and expand on the queen side. Okay, thanks Ananya, thanks for letting me know. I really like Anand sir's position in this game. It's very active, and the bishops will be really well placed on the long open diagonals. Okay, let's go to Teranch's game. Okay, his knight is still trapped. He played knight c4, bishop into c4, b5. b5 looks like a move where you're attacking, but it's not supported. So maybe he could have, like, I think the move that he went wrong with was knight c6, or perhaps he could have just gone back here, knight b8. Alright, b5 takes c6. Okay, he's just giving up pawns. Bishop d7. And fun fact, guys, I think I got a mail saying that Teranch and Anand sir share the birthday, same birthday, so it's 11th December. Okay, so sir is better here because again this was protected and this had no support. There was no pin here. Knight f3, f5. So here I think black played too many pawn moves in the opening. That's where he went wrong. Yeah, sir is better in this game. Yeah, because this is the game where many things happen, so I'm just checking this one right now. And sir already won against Teranch. Okay, well played Teranch. I think you had some mistakes in the opening, otherwise it was a good game. Let's see what happened in Sridhar's game. So we were at queen b1, bishop d6 was played. Okay, whenever you're under attack, you want to exchange pieces so that your opponent doesn't have pieces to attack. Okay, takes. Oh, he played knight e5, h6, knight into c4. This is a very nice move. This is a very nice tactic, in fact, because you see that this bishop, this queen is supporting the bishop is already under attack, and then you can have a fork here, takes, and suddenly the knight is forking the bishop and the queen. Nice tactic. bishop e4. Okay, the queen is sort of trapped, right? The queen is sort of trapped. Queen into e4. Okay, we go for the exchange. Is anything else like king e2 possible? I'm just wondering with the idea of rook g1. Okay, but bishop e4 is simple. Just exchanging because you have more pawns than the opponent. Okay, in I think Aryan's game, Aryan is basilic. Okay, my bad guys, Aryan is basilisk. Rook e1 is coming up with the idea of something on e8, maybe queen e2. In fact, I even like the idea of bishop e5 at some point. Even that is a possibility, attacking this. This is of course under attack. I'm just trying to figure out how can black protect f7. Is there a way? Players cannot hear me. I have muted myself on the call, so they cannot hear me. Guys, do like the stream so that more people are recommended. Okay, let's check what is happening in Sridhar's game, because that is the game which has which still has some balance in the position. All the other positions Sir has advantage, and against Tehran Sir has won. Okay, Ritik is playing well, but he is playing really passive right now. It's slightly passive because g5 is coming up, this bishop is going here, maybe even rook g1, and this bishop on a7 might look as if it's on a good diagonal, but right now it's not doing much. It's active, but it's not doing much right now. Guys, you can also stand a chance to play against Sir. You can register for the course, his course, play like a grandmaster, learn to play like a grandmaster, and right now for 3 days there's going to be a 15% discount, so you can definitely check out. I think the link for the website is in the description. Let me check. Yeah, it's in the description, so you can register for the course and be a part of his clan. So I will personally analyze the games, and he will tell you in the live sessions where you made a mistake. I think Sridhar or Ritik, because Ritik, at least there is some balance in the position right now. In the other two games, Sir is already, okay, he has already almost won. Yeah, this is a checkmate. Yeah, he is won, and even this game he has won, so there are just 2 games left. So I think Sridhar can maybe try. But of course he's a pawn down, and there's no weakness as such in White's camp here. In Ritik's position, okay, Ritik is trying. He's playing well. He's trying. C, DC, okay, BC4. He's trying to create some play, but I'm not sure if it's enough, because now knight can go to d5. Okay, he prevented that. Bishop can go here. Knight can go to g3 and maybe even h5. You never know. Or even h5 and h6 at some point. I'm sure the players are feeling the pressure, because of course it's an honor to play against Viswanathan Anand, and they must be feeling a bit of pressure. Okay, maybe rook b1. I think sir just wanted to make sure there is no counter attack here. So it's a very good idea, like whenever you are better on one side of the board, don't let your opponent have any counter chances. So I think sir is trying to do that. Of course, sir himself will give some insights after the games are over about what he thought during the games. Okay, queen a4. So I think on the king side he is already better, and now he's going for the queen side. Okay, let's check out what is happening in Sridhar's game. Okay, sir has taken this break, which is a great idea. Whenever there is a pawn like this on b6, you always have the chance of opening the a file with this, because you're not moving your rook, you're just activating the rook where it is. Okay, bishop c8. Maybe he can take and go rook a7. I think that will be sir's plan. Oh, he took. Alright. Okay, black can maybe try to get his knight here and try to attack this pawn somehow. That should be black's idea. Maybe a move like b5, sacking a pawn and then trying to enter with the rook. It's a possibility. Not the best, but definitely a possibility. Okay, let's check out what's happening in Ritik's game. Alright, Ritik, he has managed to play like really well up till now. Rook b2. Okay, I'm just trying to understand what sir is doing here, because he's definitely, maybe he can still castle, but it looks difficult if he castles here, because takes, and then bishop f3. Maybe rook d2 is the plan. So you don't develop the bishop because you did not have the d1 square because of this bishop. You went for a maneuver like this to get to the d file. It's possible. Nice idea. Yeah, I guess Aryan's screen is frozen. Yes, I think so. I think he lost, so I think he must have paused the screen. Alright. c5. Okay. c5 is actually, I don't know, because now b5, yes. And this bishop is hanging because there's a pin here. And also there is no trapping the queen here if queen a7, because there's no rook a8. Bishop controls this diagonal. Let's go to Sridhar's game. Oh, a lot has happened. Let's check what all happened. We saw this takes b3, knight d7, takes the pawn, king d2. Good idea to get your king in the endgame. King should be very active in the endgame. f6, king c3, e5. Okay, Sridhar is trying, he's trying. Hey, bishop g3, or even takes. I think bishop g3. Bishop g3 was played by sir. Okay, so the bishop returned back, and so did the queen. But now the difference is that d5 square is really weak, and even d6. So when we saw the position earlier, when queen a4 was played, d6 was not so weak, and now suddenly rook b2 makes sense, because now the rook can hop in here, try to attack this. Okay, I think he has blended a pawn. Queen d6 can be played now. It's a free pawn. So queen d6 incoming. Yeah, he played that. Guys, Sir is playing against his clan, and basically even you can stand a chance to play against Sir in the simults. There'll always be a simul before the course, so you can stand a chance to play against it if you register for the course. He has a course coming up on 20th of September, and there'll be 6 sessions with they are concentrated on all topics like openings, evaluation of the position, defense, tactical training, and basically if you do the course you will improve in all aspects, and he'll be analyzing your own games. So that will be a great opportunity for you to learn from him. Okay, nice move, rook e8. Just exchanging pieces, because now you can take here if he takes. And Sir is better here, he won a piece. It should be easy now. Let's check out Ritik's game, which is the most complicated of all the games right now, because okay, the king hasn't castled, so we can still hope for some play from Ritik. Oh, b6. Okay, so a7 bishop is trapped. a7 bishop is trapped. There is no way to protect this because the rook is protected. There is no pin here. I really like how Sir played this game. He gave no chance. Okay, what will he play? Can he play knight e8 maybe, or can he try to somehow trap this queen, or at least make it difficult for the queen to move from here? What do you think, guys? Okay, bishop into b6. He gave up a piece. And in Sridhar's game, okay, Sridhar is trying, but it will be very difficult now. Guys, do like this stream, so more people are recommended. Okay, bishop. Okay, knight d5 now. I think he'll just go for the exchanges and go to the end game and win the game. Maybe I should check out how this opening happened. Let's maybe quickly go back because I couldn't focus on this game much. c4 e5. Okay. Okay. Oh, so the bishop went on a7 on the 6th move and it stayed there. Okay, I don't know where actually black went wrong. So far it looks good. Maybe it was just because he played slightly passive. Takes, knight e7, rook b1. Maybe he could have played something like, maybe something else here. Bishop g4, queen e4, removing the queen from the pin. Queen c8, knight g3, f6. Okay, maybe he played f6 to open up this file so that he can try for some attack, which usually is a good idea. And here maybe he can take and play bishop f3, maybe just to exchange the bishops. Bishop is a good defender here and also controls the longest diagonal. So okay, Ritik has very low time. Okay, so far this has happened. Knight e6, takes, knight d5. So always when you push your pawns, make sure you don't leave such squares, because now this knight cannot be removed by any pawn. So you cannot play this or this to push the knight. h5. And what's with Sridhar's game? Okay, Sridhar has resigned. So only Ritik is playing. Ritik is fighting it out. Guys, and after the game, sir will be sharing his insights. So you will learn a lot from them. Even I will. Okay, now knight e7 is a threat. Knight e7 is a threat. He's attacked this knight. If the knight moves, knight e7 wins the queen. Okay, I think Ritik might lose on time. There is a 10-second increment, so still possible to hold when it comes to the time at least. Okay, queen d6, getting the queen in the game. Queen was not doing much on the other side of the board, so you get the queen, make it active, play it here. I think queen e7 is the idea, with rook into h6 takes and something here. Oh, now even okay, queen e5, threatening rook into h6. Let's see if Ritik sees this. I am sure he'll figure this out. Okay, this is a checkmate in one now. So has won all his games. How was the experience, guys?
Okay. Fantastic.
It was like one of the greatest days of my life, but I played so bad. And the one line I didn't prepare for in the dragon, he played it, so that was sad.
Okay, actually, since we have a bit of time, why don't we go over the games? So,
Sure, sir. Which game should we start with? Ritik's game?
well, let's start with Tehran.
Okay.
So, we just go one by one.
Actually, I'm Tehran.
Tarun, okay. Tarun, sorry, I'm reading your name as it's written there, but of course I see your Tarun here. Okay,
Oh, okay.
got it. Okay, so so Parnali will think and I'll.
Yeah.
So the first thing, Tarun, is that moves like knight a5 should be avoided on move 2. So if you're going to play this, you're better off putting the knight on e5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so knight e5, right?
Because, knight e5 would be better for you, because if you put it on a5, as happened in the game, I played e4, and I'm threatening to win your knight. So can you quickly tell me what's the only move you can do to avoid losing your knight?
So I'll quickly switch
You
on
want to
the
just think and see how you can avoid losing it?
Yeah, I'll just quickly switch on the analysis board so that I can make the moves. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So instead of d6, there's only one move you can make, which doesn't lose a piece. Well, doesn't lose that knight.
Is it
Okay,
b6?
the move is b6, correct. Because the knight needs a square to run to when I play b4. You can put off the problem by playing e6 as well, because it stops b4. But either way, you have to address that threat on b4. After you do that, to be honest, the only interesting moment for me is move 12. I mean, after I'm a piece up, generally there is you shouldn't have too many hopes. But after this knight takes e4 that you played, I mean, you gave a piece. I took knight e4. We're not disputing the evaluation. I'm just curious, why didn't you take on d5? You just missed it? I mean, having done this, you just take the pawn and it doesn't change very much, but I was kind of struck out. After that, well, white has 2 extra pieces, and so it's going fast. But you see the problem. If you start with a bad opening, you get into trouble very quickly. So generally, if you advance a central pawn, if you advance e6 or d5, you'll find it very difficult to lose a knight like that. that itself, because more pieces are participating, that pawn is supporting the knight in more squares, it's almost impossible to trap a knight like that. So you might want to just keep that in mind in your openings. Just make a central pawn move and then do your thing, okay? Okay, then let's go to the next game, which is
Aryan's game, I think.
yes, we can go to who is Basilisk Chess?
Aryan, I think.
Is that
Yeah,
that's Ritik?
No, it's Aryan, I guess.
It's Aryan, okay. Okay, fine. So e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5. Queen c7 is not it's not necessary, in fact, because unlike the Nimzo, which maybe you're thinking of in reversed colors, unlike the Nimzo Indian, there isn't too much benefit from capturing that bishop with your queen. You can double your pawns and live with it, okay?
Yeah, okay.
The specific case where, because I'm not going to give it to you for free, I'm going to wait for you to play a6 and only then do it, and then my lead in development is quite big already. There is an opening with bishop b5, knight f6, knight c3, where queen c7 actually makes sense. But that's specific because the white knight is already committed to c3. And this is a sharp line. I think now again it's doing well for white, but I have to look up these things. I mean, this was in the last 17 years, who knows how many turns it's had. But okay. So castles, you played g6. And you see that I was able to exploit that by playing c3 because you have not challenged me. I'm now going to get my full center. And basically, you're in big trouble already. Even I think you could play a6, but now I will just play bishop a4 and bishop c2 if necessary. So even if you chase me, I'll get the bishop to c2 and I'll play d4. And I get this double center. And you've lost a move with your queen. To put it another way, someday when my knight develops, knight c3, knight d5, I'm going to kick your queen, you're going to have to move it again. But in a broader principle, you see what I'm doing here. I'm basically aiming for this super center. And if you look at the moves in this opening, you'll see that they're all directed against this plan. It may seem like a bunch of random moves, g6, bishop g7, but it's all very specific. Black is either harassing the e4 pawn or threatening to harass the d4 pawn. And there's a back and forth going here. Certainly, we can cover this in some depth in the classes, but I think this. Well, you saw what happened after c3, bishop g7, d4 takes. You're almost lost. The only thing I'll say is e takes d5 is a mistake because you're opening the e file for me. And once the pawn gets to d6, then I think you yourself probably felt under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So, in fact, after that, you defend fairly tenaciously, but the position is so bad that there's not much to be done. I think a little bit of opening work. If you're going to play the Rosolimo. Otherwise, what you can do is, if you want to keep this for later, you can also play things like the king pawn openings or the French. They're more solid to start with, and you don't have these kind of opening accidents that you can have in a Sicilian. So you start on a more solid note, and then you can expand out from there, depending how you feel. I'll let you pick one or two alternatives. Let's go to move 13.
Okay.
So king f8.
Yeah.
I went bishop f4 because there's no real need for me to do very much. I mean, I'm going to play rook e7, rook e1.
I
But,
think the major problem is the c8 bishop, right? Okay.
Yes, absolutely. That bishop is never. Imagine you have to play a6, then you have to play b5. But before you play b5, you have to move that rook, and only then it's coming out. And in the meantime, f7 will collapse. I could there are a couple of moves available to me here. One is queen takes f6 doesn't work because you actually play bishop f6, bishop h6, bishop g7, and it's not working for me. But bishop g5 is also very strong. So many moves are very strong here. I went bishop f4 because I thought if I keep that pawn on d6, I will crack on f7. But yeah, nothing too difficult after that. I think once you're in big trouble, then it's very hard to get out of these things. All right. Okay, then let's do Sridhar's game. Yeah, we can go back to the beginning. Yes. So nowadays I play the London system. It's quite simple plans and so on. E6, E3, C5, knight bd2. Generally, you want your knight on C6. I think you can even consider queen b6 at this point and play bishop d6 to try to swap those bishops. Bishop d3, okay, I guess the computer says it's dubious because you could go knight h5. That seems exaggerated to me. I mean, if I play bishop e5, he wants to go f6, then I go bishop g3. But it's true that sometimes people do this. On move 7, if you play knight h5, Pranali.
Yeah.
Then I go bishop e5. The computer wants to go f6. Already there is one trick move, which is knight g5.
Yeah, there's some threats here on the knight.
Yeah. And so maybe it doesn't work. Ah, no, I play knight takes e5.
Yeah. Oh,
And if queen takes h5, g6 wins for me, for black. So I have to play d takes e5. And now you can play g6 and solve it. But instead of knight g5, I could go. Okay, we have gotten a bit far afield. Let's discuss the opening. Castle. And maybe already I could play knight e5, but I thought why not play h4? The reason I'm playing h4 is simply this. Okay, c4 we'll get to in a second because it's a very big decision you took with c4. So let's move back one move. So what White's plan here is I want to play knight g5. And if you play h6, just tell you I'm going to ignore it. Because if you take, the h file will open. Also, I could go knight e5 and queen f3. So that's the constant plan. And then you follow up with g4, g5. And finally, h4 gives me this option to play rook h3, g3 sometimes. So h4 gave me a lot of options. You played c4. I suspect it's not a great move. But what I want to say is once you do c4, your plan has to be b5, b4. Because you have given up on counterattacking d4. So d4 is fixed. So you now have to move to the new base of the pawn chain. And the new base is c3. So if you play b5, b4, queen a5, and you target that, I'll be forced. The idea is that White will be forced to divert pieces to defend that. And these pieces will be then missed in the attack. Literally transfer of resources. So after b5, I would play a3. Because now you play a5 in order to support b4. You don't have queen a5 anymore. But also you don't have b4 yet because I'll play cb4 and your rook is pinned.
Yeah.
So you need to make 2-3 moves preparation to play b4 again. But the thing is, when b4 happens, you have more options. You'll have some b3 option. You can sack the pawn and play a4 and put a queen on a5 and so on.
Okay.
So it's quite a critical decision, this c4. I think queen b6 is simply a mistake because it's mixing two plans. If you're going to play queen b6, you should never combine it with c4. I went queen b1 because I thought now I'm going to go back and what do you think I want with queen b1? Can you tell?
I thought h7.
Yes, but specifically, do you see a white move that I'm aiming for?
Sorry?
Do you see a white move that I'm aiming for?
like somehow kick the like f6 out, and then like the like h7 is hanging. I mean, that is the reason why I actually played h6.
Okay. The thing is, what I want to play is g4
Oh, okay.
because now I'm actually I could have done it on the previous move, but the problem is he will take on b2,
Okay.
and so it's very tight to that decision. So I went queen b1, uh, g, and I want to play g4 knight g4. If I'll take on h7. If you don't play knight g4, I'll continue pushing that pawn forward.
Yeah,
So that's one.
the attack is very strong.
But the thing is, you're already probably busted. I think your best chance is to play bishop d6 and hope for the best.
Okay.
And if you've
Did
done
I-
this without c4, you could play cd4, bishop d6, and you're slightly better off.
Okay.
So keeping that tension is a very important resource. You don't want to release that tension. We will see it in French defenses. We'll see it in even some Sicilians, in dry Lopez's. You don't want to release that pressure because it's the only balancing force you have. Yeah.
Just did I castle too early? Because like after the pressure I got, I thought maybe I castled too early.
I would say that my current understanding of this line is that you've mixed the bishop e7 plan and the castle plan. If you play bishop e7, yes, you can play b6, bishop b7. Make as many useful moves as you want before you castle.
Okay.
That way you put off that reckoning. You probably did castle early. So. Okay, then let's go to move. So you blundered this knight takes e4. In general, I don't like to play this move bishop e4 because I would rather play rook f1, but I thought here it's more important to get rid of the queens.
Yeah, this was a very nice tactic. Knight c4.
Yeah. And after b6, I go knight d6. And the reason is I don't want your bishop to come to b7. And you played bishop a6, I went c4. And so now what I wanted to do is to play a4, b4, b5, and thing. The problem is after knight f6, I went a4, thinking that knight e8, I could go knight b5. I mean, I don't know what the computer's dubious move means, whether it means as a better move or whether this is spoils my advantage. I can't see that it spoils my advantage, but I could also take on d8 and play b3. That is also fine because I keep my. You see, I'm trying to put all my queenside pawns on light squares because they obstruct your bishop. If I put them on dark squares, they can be blockaded. So I'm putting everything on light squares so that I'll create pass pawns and win. And I think that's more or less inevitable. I don't know why it says knight c8 is a mistake. So it's probably overdoing its computerishness. And it says bishop d6 was best. I saw bishop d6. In fact, what I really wanted to play instead of king d2 on move 25 is ab6 on move 25.
Yeah.
I wanted to play rook a7.
Okay.
Because now if you move your knight, I'll come king e2 and put the other rook on a1. And I dominate the file. But you're going to play rook a8. That's my problem. And if I take on d7, you're going to take on a1. On h1, sorry.
Yeah.
So then I lose the a file and that's why I played king d2, because if you go rook a8, which I think you have to do to challenge, then my plan is king c3, b4, king b4, king b5. And you'll see that there's a terrible square. It's a great square for my king. It's a terrible square for your knight. Your knight cannot threaten my king at all. There's not much happening. I just wanted to sort of point out these one or two moments. The computer says instead of f6, you should just sack the pawn with e5. He says instead of f6, you should play e5. I think I would take with the bishop. You take. Knight, pawn takes. And I think he wants to play b5. I don't know what he wants to play. I will play rook hits c1. If you go rook d8 check, I go king e2. And now you're two pawns down. And that's, I don't see how you can overcome that. So you can ignore some computer evaluations. Maybe f6 is so much worse that e5 is a
better option.
You've run out of options in a way. Okay, and I think the only nice thing is that on rook a3, I could play b4, it's winning, but what I didn't want to allow any counterplay, the very last move, if I play b4, I didn't want you to have rook f3, king takes c5, and f5, and you'll get some counterplay. So I thought better to be very clinical. But this is
Okay.
it's not necessary. This is also winning. So not really very important. Okay. The last game I think was the most fascinating.
Thanks.
Yeah. Ritik's game, right?
Yes. It's a nice thing because I once saw Hikaru Nakamura do something like this, where he just put this. He does it with black also sometimes. He play b6 and g6, but what he's trying to do is just it's good anti-computer chess also, because you the pawns, by keeping all my pawns below the third rank, I don't give the computer any target to attack. Okay. Nonetheless, I think you should know that on move 5, there is quite complicated theory after e3. It's d5, the move is, which you're supposed to play, and it's very messy. I think it's the move anyway. CD5 knight b4 and something like this. Yeah, knight b4 and you're threatening knight d3 check, but it's highly computerish analysis. So I do not know what is happening anymore. I have to revise it with a computer, otherwise I don't understand. So we'll move on, but just to point it out. A3, d6, b4 castles. I thought you're doing okay here. What do you think is the big problem for black here on move? Let's say let's stop after white's 9th move, d3, and then just ask you, what do you think black's problem is?
I feel I don't have space.
Okay. So how are you going to solve that problem?
I was actually trying a lot to break the center, and I couldn't find anything.
Good. Well, rook b8 is a decent plan because at least it addresses the problem. You want to play b5, fight the space, and then create targets that you attack. I'm not even going to criticize it. It's a reasonable move. But for me, what I would have done is either bishop e6 instead of rook b8, because now you're threatening d5. And now if I had played g4, when you play d5, I can poke you with g5. But here I was just a move slow for that. If I play h3, you start with d5. So amongst the things I can do is knight d5 and stop that temporarily. Also, now you cannot take with the knight because you'll lose a piece on the fork. But remember, you can just step aside. After knight d5, you can go bishop d7 and say, I'm going to take it with the knight now. And every piece you exchange, you're relieving some pressure also. But there is a nicer plan, which I think is more fundamental. After d3, you'll see this in a lot of Gyoko pianos also. In fact, you'll see it in many openings. The Rai Lopez is more or less built on this. The knight goes knight bd2, knight f1, knight g3. And the thing is, in the Breyer variation of the Rai Lopez, you will see it. Black plays knight b8, knight d7, because this knight, has a very conflicted relationship with the c6 square. It's nice when it's supporting a pawn on d4 or something, but here it's blocking its own c pawn. It's not allowing d5. It's an uncomfortable piece. So the natural move, of course, not here, I wouldn't say knight b8, but knight e7. So what you're doing now is, first of all, you're threatening c6 and d5. Now, why is c6 and d5 better than bishop e6 and d5? Because after c6 and d5, if I play c5, so we can make one or two moves. Let's say I go castles, c6, bishop b2, d5. And if I say, okay, I'm going to play against that bishop, I play c5. So I'm saying that your bishop on a7 is silly. You can just play bishop b8 now. And now the bishop comes to c7. And it's as if you had gone bishop b6, c7. It's a longer route, but you've got the super center now.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, your knight is ready to go to g6. And all this means that your pieces are regrouping nicely. So knight e7 is a good plan. It addresses this thing. You want to play d5, your knight is stuck on c6 and so on. Okay. Then I go g4, g5. You played knight e8 on move 12. I think the problem for knight h5 is that I'll play h4 and I'll keep harassing you with bishop f3 because it's a nicer square, I think. But you go knight e8. I go h4. And I was very relieved to see b takes c4 actually, because I thought a better plan for you is knight e7. You don't
Similar
make this commitment. You don't need to commit d takes c4. What you want is to play c5 and keep this maximum tension. So you're out of space. I've gained a lot of space, but by no means are you worse. If you play knight e7 and c5, remember after c5 you bring your other knight. It comes from e8 where it's not making a single move now. It's now ready to come to c7. What you achieved in the game at some cost, but here you could do it without losing d6, and so on. So sometimes you don't need to take very committal decisions, just you can keep increasing the tension, because white is very far from landing a knockout blow. I mean, there are very nice plans, but all of them leave my king slightly weaker also. So they're not cost free, they're not risk free for me. I make some moves, but I might regret them a few moves later. Then I thought the other next queen c8, all these moves you played excellently, so compliments. Knight g3. I'm waiting actually. That's why I'm also running. It's not clear how I should progress, but I was very happy to see c5 because now I can play b5.
So
I could have played b5 myself one move before, but it's not as convincing as here.
So what was your idea with rook b2? Like,
I'm waiting for him to make a move. I didn't have an idea. And because, the other thing is maybe I thought in some line if he opens the f file, I'm defending f2, but you just make a move.
okay.
The rook is protected on b2. That can be useful. It can come to d2. In fact, a good move instead of c5 would have been bishop e6, because this pawn is slightly awkward. How do I defend it? If I defended queen b3, you can play c6 and knight c7 and d5. So always you can think in terms of these plans. And d5, and you've got your thing. If I play knight d5, which is probably what I want to do, then you take it and you move your bishop back. And you play g6 and rook f7, and you build up slowly again. I mean, it's not going to be that easy for me to land a knockout blow also. And then the game collapsed very quickly because you played knight c7, which is it's a pity, but you're in big trouble already. Instead of knight c7, I'm going to play a4, and the thing is, your c5 has made your d6 pawn very weak. I wanted you to play c5 without taking on c4 because my d3 pawn is protecting your d6 pawn. That's the
Right.
you see. So after this, well, it went very fast because after queen d6, you're piece down and everything plays. You can see my pieces, even though they're quite far back, they are all well placed to exploit the e4 square. So very nice options I have. But this position is suffering already, but you can still play bishop b6, bishop a5, and try to harass me on this side. Again, even bad positions can be played. They're bad, but they need not be lost. And but the first part of the game, I liked your play, and I felt you could very easily improve in one or two areas. So
Thank you.
good. I hope all of you enjoyed this little mini lecture also. But yeah, is there any thoughts on the upcoming course? Anything you want to focus on? As always, sending me requests without games is so. The philosophy of the course, as you're aware, is based on your games that I can show themes. So if you send me games and say, in this game, can you tell me what I can do here? Then we can address that in the class. That's useful learning for everyone. We also select games that are as useful as possible to all the subscribers, of course. But definitely, if you highlight some games, we're happy. But if you guys want to share any feedback or something, we can quickly do that before wrapping up. At least some of you have been in earlier courses, so I recognize you, but I'm not sure all of you have been. Have you all been in the earlier courses?
No, it was my first course.
Your first, okay.
Yeah.
So very much based on audience games, right? But we'll then try to make a course out of it. Tarun, Ritvik, are you prior or is this your first course?
No, this is my first course as well.
Okay.
I think Sridhar is he
The only one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
all
Sridhar,
courses.
I know. So good. Then instead of feedback, it's more a question of maybe requests. Anything you want to change, Sridhar?
I was actually wondering, who do you think is the favorite to win the World Championship?
Okay, that's something we can do during the course. But I think still it's Magnus, but both of them are not playing very much. I don't know if Magnus will play in the US now. I don't know if Nepo will. And I think they've basically finished their active tournaments. They're going to just train for the match. My feeling is still that Magnus is the favorite. On his bad days, he's better than Nepo in his bad days. And on his good days, I think he's better than Nepo on his good days. But Nepo is very dangerous. So unpredictable in that sense. But if I had to put money, of course, I'd put it on Magnus. Yeah.
Are you going to play in Riga?
Well, I'll definitely consider it, but right now I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing for the next few months. So, I mean, there are other projects and things like that, but yeah, probably I will play. So.
If you don't mind me asking, why don't you participate in the online chess tournaments like that, like the Champions Chess Tour? That it would be a pleasure to watch you over there.
Okay, thanks. Well, I was unable to play the first two because, well, the first one I wasn't invited. The second one they invited me, but that was the day I was traveling to India in this Vande Bharat flight, so it was just impossible to do that. And I think I missed one more after that because I wasn't ready to play. But I played in July. I didn't enjoy online chess very much. I mean, it starts at something like 7:30 in the evening here, and playing at home, it's difficult to get this full routine also going. You're not sure whether you're at home or you're in a competition. So we'll see. Maybe one day I'll change my mind. But right now, I'm not playing many of those.
Even the Olympiad is coming up, right?
Yeah, the Olympiad is coming up. That I am playing, but that luckily the federation is putting us all up in a hotel. So it'll feel like being in a real tournament. When you're sitting at home, you're never sure if you're monkeying around or you're actually playing something. So when you're in a physical location, I think it's easier to concentrate.
Yeah.
So can you share something?
Yes, Tarun, I can't hear you.
Sir, actually my name is Tiransh. I also wrote it in the chat box.
You wrote it in the chat box. Okay, one sec. I'm switching monitors, so some parts of this window disappear. There it is. Yeah.
Sir,
Your name is Teransh. Okay.
Sir, I wanted to tell that I share my date of birth with you. 11 December.
Ah, nice. And which year are you from?
I'm from Delhi.
No, which year? Which year?
2012.
Okay. Well, that's
That's great.
a nice coincidence. Good.
Sir, and I also wanted to be like you, and sir, I also wanted to ask, can you tell some more techniques to attack your opponent?
I didn't understand that. Could you repeat that?
He's asking if you can tell him ways to attack, techniques to attack.
It's a lot to summarize in 5 minutes. It's a lot to summarize in a course even. But we have a attacking chapter, and if you have specific examples, always I keep emphasizing this. The course is built around your game, so if you can send me examples, then I can.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, I'll do some game with a lot of analysis, but it may not be exactly what you want to learn at that point. So if you guys have played anything recently, send it to me. Send it to us. Parnali will flag it and we'll put it in. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Can I ask, do you think trash talk has a psychological effect on your opponent? Like, I've seen lots of the top level chess players tweeting at each other. I'm sure it's just banter, but do you think it creates a different psychological atmosphere?
Yeah, but what about psychology? What I didn't hear the first word. Yeah,
Trash talk, like
trash talking.
yeah.
It's double-edged, but yes, trash talking can get under your skin, and then sometimes you may stop being objective and you may make moves to punish somebody instead of playing simply the best moves and so on. But it can backfire easily. I know many people who trash talk and then they don't back it up with moves and they look foolish. So it is quite a double-edged sword. Also, how do they trash talk in online things? They can really trash talk you through social media.
Yeah.
But if you simply ignore their accounts, then they can't get inside your head. So there
Yeah.
are quite effective antidotes to that. But yes, you see it a lot these days, especially these online tournaments. They're tweeting every 5 seconds, and so they constantly at each other. There must be some. A lot of it is banter. Some of it is trash talking, pretending to be banter. So they are definitely jostling for something. So
Yeah, guys, we'll have one last question maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
one more question we'll have.
I think I noticed in most of these games you didn't castle. Is that some subconscious no castling prep?
No. In this in the game with Sridhar, it was clear that I was wanting to attack. So I wanted my rook outside the. Once it comes to f1, it can't come out very easily again in a closed situation. Your game, I explained. I was playing with the space advantage, and in fact, I was trying to push on the king side. With Tarun, I did castle. Taransh, sorry, I did castle. And with Aryan as well. Aryan was the Rosar Limo, right? Yeah, that I castled as well because it's essential to before you can play rook e1 check and all that. So only 2 games I didn't castle. It depends on the opening. Some openings you get used to playing without castling, and some you don't. And I came from a no castling tournament. Maybe that was your reference, but
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. I hope you had a lot of fun. And right now, you can also stand a chance to play against Anand sir in the simul. So do register for the course. The course is named Learn to Play Like a Grandmaster. Right now, for 3 days, there is a 15% discount. So you can check out. The link is in the description. So you can, if you have any thoughts, you can share it. Like,
yeah. So, like I said, I'll be happy to receive your games and take that. Do subscribe and join the course. I look forward to seeing you there.
all right, guys. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
everyone.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, so.
Yes, guys. In the live chat, if you're asking if it's live, the sessions will be live. So that's about it. Thank you very much for joining, and we will have a simul again before the next course. So do register and do subscribe. Thank you so much.